I finally got into a nursing program. It was a long journey, but we're finally here and I could not be more happy. The entire journey was so worth it. Hey guys, I'm Genesis and I'll be taking you guys along my nursing journey. It was a long one, but stay tuned because if I could do it, you can definitely do it too. So I've always been interested in health and wellness, healing, caring for people. But I also had another passion as well, hence why I have another YouTube channel, the music channel. Coming out of high school, I wasn't really serious about a career really. I just thought, you know what? I'm gonna make it as a singer or an artist. And honestly, God's plan, because I had a huge passion for that. And I know I'm an artist at heart and I'm a creative at heart, but now I know that I would be of better service to people being in the healthcare field. Going into college, I was not serious about school at all. I was always bad at school. I was withdrawing from classes all the time. I was just not showing up. I would just party and just have fun and live in the moment, not care about the future. I just had a lot of ups and downs, back and forths. I just wanted to do the exact opposite of what everyone else was telling me to do. Everybody was telling me to go to college, so fine, I'll go to college, but I'm not going to take all the classes that you think that I should take. I took all the dance classes, the singing classes, the art classes, theater. I just did all the fun things that I've always wanted to do. And honestly, wow, everything happens for a reason, and divine timing has brought me here now, because now my passion is what fuels it. Now I know for a fact, because I've literally tried everything, this is where I am meant to be. So I always wanted to be an artist and a businesswoman, but somebody told me that if you want to make it as an artist, you have to go full-time and you can't do anything else. It has to be your full focus. So in my head, I registered that as very literal, and I was like, okay, then I can't do anything at all besides this art thing. Coming from someone who's not disciplined, that was a bad idea. Because I would have plans to do art stuff and like music stuff. I would get it done, but I would procrastinate a lot and I just wasn't really that focused. Again, everything happens for a reason, okay? It didn't pan out, but I did have a lot of fun and I have no regrets. Honestly, you should have a passion, you should have a hobby, you should have other things that you like and pursue. But I should have probably gone to school for something that I was also interested in, hence the healthcare field. I remember my first counselor meeting at school, I literally told her that I wanted to be a naturopathic doctor. And here we are back full circle, more than 10 years later, and now I'm trying to get into the healthcare field again. But yeah, you don't have to go to school if you want to be an artist and or do something creative. It helps maybe to learn to take a few classes, but if you're gonna go to college anyways, at least make it be something where you have to go to college to be. That's just my advice. Fast forward 7 years later, I finally got my arts and humanities degree. Yeah, 7 years later. 2-year college. But I definitely learned a lot. I'm a first generation college student. I didn't really have much guidance from, say, siblings to really guide you on what to do. I literally just had my parents telling me, go to college is the right thing to do. I was going to college, like I was going to college. But was I doing it right? Probably not. In that case, I should have just not even gone to college and pursued the business or creative career that I wanted to do. But yes, so I got my art degree. My mom literally cried. Honestly, I was just sick of being in school and I'm like, let me just get something, and I have all these art classes, so let me just get a diploma in the easiest thing. And I think I had to take 3 or 4 other like hard classes, and at the end I just got focused. Like the last year and a half I just got focused, and I'm like, okay, let me actually just do this so I can get my associates and move on with my life. But in this day and age, it has gotten a lot more competitive when it comes to the degrees that people have and the experience that people have. So I wasn't able to find like a decent paying job with the degree that I had and also with no experience. Look, I'm an artist myself. I know, I get it. But just having an associate's of art degree by itself, I wasn't really sure what job I'd be able to get that was still high paying. I'm sure they're out there, and maybe I just didn't try hard enough. But I definitely think that I needed to have more of a competitive edge for me to get there. I didn't end up doing that. Instead, I stayed in the nightlife. I saw myself getting more money in the nightlife, so I was a promo girl like throughout all of my 20s. I was a bartender, still do sometimes actually. It's really good while you're going to school. Caregiving, I was doing a lot of little side jobs, side hustles, like you name it, I've done it all. Serving, I worked at a call center, I interned at a music studio, I worked at a smoothie place, bottle service, brand ambassador, which I do recommend also, those are fun, but mostly doing promo modeling. That was just like the main source of income that I stuck with. It was really fun, don't get me wrong. I did a lot, saw a lot, met a lot of people, partied a lot, went to a lot of cool fun events, and I had a blast. But I was working my booty off. Yeah, there were certain times where I would have more money than other times. It just wasn't consistent. And also it was a hustle. Like it is a hustle to get that good money in those industries. You still have to put in work, and there's a lot of behind the scenes things that is just exhausting. It literally drains you. Everything, hospitality industry, nightlife industry, just all these quick cash places. I recommend it while you're working on something else. But as far as staying in it long term, it wore me out. So I wanted to get really serious about something. I thought, you know what, like, how am I gonna be able to like still do my creative things and also have something stable on the side? I thought, you know what, nursing has the best schedule ever. It's a great career choice, and there's a lot of different things that you can do within the field as well. Like it's not just like one thing. Like you can get into, there's so many different branches of nursing. So I was like, you know what, like this feels right. Like this, honestly, it feels right, and I'm gonna go for it. So I went back to school. I already had my associates, but I had to go back to a community college to get a different kind of associates. It was honestly, I knew it was gonna take me a really long time, but at least it was for certain this time. This time around was because I really wanted to, and it was because I had a drive for it. It wasn't because anyone else was making me do it. I ended up taking all of the pre-core classes like sociology, physiology, psychology, microbiology, just all of them. I was so determined to get good grades because I wanted to make sure that I got into a nursing program because I knew how competitive it was going to be, and I'm a perfectionist too, so I got A's in every single one of those classes. I could do a video on how I did it, but honestly, I'm not joking, 4.0 or more at every single one of the nursing classes. I was very serious about it, and when I am determined about it, and also God's plan, it's more natural to you. And this was during the pandemic, y'all. It was brutal. 2020 was brutal for so many ways. Not only because of the pandemic, but because of the pandemic, obviously the classes were canceled or they only had online classes. So I was taking all of my prerequisites in my room. This was my space for 2020. I was just living here in my room, and now I remodeled it, but before it was like not really the cutest room. I was literally staring at these four walls for all of 2020, some of 2021 too. I don't even have sunlight coming into my room like that. These are lights, and I honestly, I don't know how I did it. It was pure discipline and sheer will, just staring. Like my window, it looks at a brick wall outside and like barely any sunlight. It was very like dungeony gloomy for all of 2020, but I stuck with it because I had a goal and I just knew that I wanted to move forward with a career finally, and I got disciplined and I just did it. Once I was finally eligible to start the application process, I applied to every school possible, and it was a lot of money actually. The applications are not cheap, and just persistency, like literally just trying to get into anywhere. I took the TEAS exam. It was honestly one of the hardest moments of my life because not only did I just end my summer class of physiology, so I was already like breaking out in hives, but I literally only had 2 or 3 weeks to study for the TEAS. I don't know if you guys know about TEAS, but it is more than a 3-week long process. Like it's more of a 5-month long process of how much time that you should be studying, like 3 months minimum. Yeah, it was brutal. I'll show you guys pictures of how my skin looked. I was breaking out in hives. I was so stressed out, but so determined to get a good score on this TEAS exam. Fast forward to the TEAS exam, I literally blew it. I failed it. It was a complete nightmare. I literally blinked during the test and I started sobbing. I was so overdone, so overstressed, and just shaking because of all the caffeine. It was horrible. So during the test, I literally almost gave up during the test. There's just like so many math problems. I was just like, I have no idea. I wasn't able to finish a lot of the questions, a lot. That timer is fast. You gotta know your stuff. I ended up getting a 72% on the TEAS exam. Technically that's a C, and technically I barely passed. But if you are in a competitive state like California, that doesn't fly. There's so many more competitive scores out there that is just like, I didn't make it. I got rejected from every single school that I applied to. Every single school that I applied to, I literally got rejected. Okay, community colleges, 4-year colleges, I think I applied to 9 different schools, and every time it was just like a new email would come from the school and it would just say, sorry, you didn't get in. That honestly was crazy, and I'm gonna get it together. And it's crazy that I'm even here right now, and it's crazy that I'm even here right now speaking about this with you guys, because I was so discouraged for the longest time. So that was just one round of applications. The next semester I reapplied to all these different schools again and still got every single one of them rejected. I didn't have experience, although I actually did, but not on paper. I had caregiving experience. I had a lot of hours of caregiving, but they wanted to see a letterhead like from an agency, and I always did it privately with like family friends that needed a caregiver, or like referrals and things like that. I think I only had one agency that I actually worked with, but it wasn't enough hours to say that I had experience and to get those extra points. I had the grades for it, and then I didn't have the T scores for it as well. So I'm pretty sure all of those things together, just obviously there's probably a lot higher scored options out there. I just thought, you know what, like maybe this isn't for me. Like maybe I'm not actually meant for this. I'm tried so hard. I really tried so hard. I just remember the moment that I was like, you know what, it's not for me. And maybe I'm just a creative. Maybe I should just stick to something that's like fun and easy. That's what I've always done. And there's a reason why I didn't get into these schools. I was very discouraged. I pretty much gave up on nursing for a good 2 years. I remember telling my mom that, and obviously like our parents, they want to see us succeed. They want to see us doing something great, and that was like her one thing that she thought I was gonna finally make my career. And I like broke her heart and told her like, sorry, I'm gonna figure something else out, but that's not for me. In between the 2 years, I started 2 businesses. One failed, The other one, I started it with my best friend, Culture Generation. I'm really proud of it, honestly. It was honestly like one of the best experiences, and I'm so glad that I did it. It was a lot of work. It was a lot of fun too, but it was a lot of work, and I don't mind working hard. I did it for all the classes, but I fell out of love for it just because even though I love fashion, it was a clothing brand. Like at the end, I was like working myself so much that like I just fell out of the passion for it, and that was really hard to tell my business partner because of all the money and the time that we spent, and bless her heart for taking it so well. The Instagram is still up for it, so you guys can check it out. I'm still really proud of it, so I don't think I'm gonna ever take it down. Businesses, they don't make money at first, so I was still hustling. I was still a bartender, I was still a promo girl, I was still like working all these side hustles, and I was caregiving, all these little odd jobs. My last job was a bartending job, and I was a full-time bartender. It literally wore me out. I was the most miserable I've ever been in my entire life. I just literally could not do it. I was at a breaking point. I blew up and I broke down. It was not fun at all. I was at the point where I just did not want to do it anymore. Like I was just so sick of it. I was so unhappy. The last bartending job, I literally went crazy. I was like, I cannot keep doing this. I am too grown to be dealing with this type of BS. Honestly, it really broke me. So I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna give this another go. I'm gonna give nursing another go. I need to get into a school this time. So I tried again. I went through the whole TEAS exam. I really messed up on that one. I didn't want to pay for the new edition study guide. So I'm like, it's only 2 or 3 years later, like how much different could it be? So I just literally studied the same material that I studied the last time, and it turns out things do change because there's a lot of questions on that TEAS exam that oh my gosh, it was like from like chemistry like 5 years ago. The study guide did not talk about at all. So I definitely do recommend to study the right edition for the TEAS exam that you're going to take. Like it's worth the money. Either way, I went from a 72% to a 73%. At least it was progress, but honestly, I was just so heartbroken because I'm like, wow, really? I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna try one last time. And if I don't get into any of these schools, I'm gonna have to figure something else out. I applied to maybe like 3 schools, literally. That's it. Only 3 schools. And I was like, if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. I heard back from 2 of the schools rejecting me. And I was like, I'm not gonna wait around and see if someone is gonna accept me. So maybe it's time to start looking into private schools. Going to a nursing private school for RN is so expensive. It's like 100K. It's high up there. So I was like, there's no way I'm gonna be able to do that. What if I get in as an LVN in a LVN private school? So I decided to go to a LVN private school, and this was still competitive. Nursing in general is just competitive all around here in California. It was the cheapest school that I could find, and it wasn't too far from me. So I was like, okay, this is gonna be it. I applied to the nursing program, and honestly, this was one of those programs where you pay $400 to take a 2-month course. In this time period, they get to see if you would be able to even pass the actual program. So it's like a testing period, like a trial period to see if you can make it. My first score though, I failed it. My first test, because I didn't know what to expect, and it's just been so long since I've been in school. So I really thought it was not for me anymore, and I was literally about to quit. But then I talked to all the other students. A lot of people actually failed, so I didn't feel as bad, so I stayed with it, and I actually started to develop a good study routine, and I ended up getting all A's on all the rest of the scores and tests and homework and stuff. I actually ended up getting a really good overall score. They said that whoever gets above 80 will be qualified for the interview process. I was above 80, thank God. They only picked 30 students out of 70 students, so it was pretty intense. I got selected to have an interview. I developed hives again because I was so stressed and so nervous. But I had the interview and I got in. So I got into the LVN program. I was only in that program for 3 weeks when a series of events happened to where circumstances in my life changed and I just had to quit. Just cold turkey, just quit. I had to leave the school. During this time, I was doing caregiving. When I was doing caregiving, I fell in love with my patients. I really felt, wow, I should honestly be in this industry. Like, I don't know why I'm not in this industry. Like, I am totally meant for this. I just felt so good being able to make an actual difference in their lives personally. The little things that I did made a huge difference in their lives, and just taking care of them, knowing that they were under my watch and that they depended on me. It was like I would just pray to God all the time. God, you know my heart. You know my heart. If this is for me, then this will be for me. You know what I'm meant to do. I know what I'm meant to do, but you know what I'm meant to do. If I'm meant for this path, then put me on the path. Sure enough, I got a letter from one of the schools that I had not heard from yet. They wanted me to be an alternate student. Like, honestly, when I got that letter, when I got that alternate student acceptance letter, I literally felt like, oh my God, could this be it? I was jumping for joy, tears of happiness. I felt like I got it already, even though it was only alternate and it wasn't for sure. But I was like, oh my God, I've literally been dreaming of this moment for the longest time. I felt like it was actually an acceptance letter. It was the closest I've ever been to getting into a RN program. So obviously, of course I was gonna take it. Of course I was gonna go. Of course I was gonna be there early. So I get there, I'm super early. I actually see the director and she's taking a bunch of food inside for the orientation event. And I asked her if I could help her. She was so impressed. She asked me for my name and everything. And it was just a cool moment to be able to show my face to her and to get her to know me. Honestly, I think it gave me points, to be honest. So I helped her bring all the food inside. I stayed throughout the entire orientation, which was an 8-hour orientation. Anxiety the entire time because I didn't know if I was even going to get in or not. There was a lot of alternate students too. There was a lot. I think there was like 20 alternate students. And I'm like, the opportunities here are like very slim because there seems to be a lot of RN students who already got accepted here. Like, it doesn't look like there's any empty seats here, maybe one. So I was like, I don't know. There's a reason why I'm here. And I was literally about to just give it up anyways. So I'm just like, this is my last chance, last try, last attempt. Come to the very end of the program, she gets all the alternate students together and she calls our names one by one. I hear my name. I literally wanted to cry. I was trying to hold it in as much as possible. Like, I could not believe it. I felt like this was a dream. You have no idea the journey that I have been through to get here. A lot of these girls, this was their first application round. And to me, this just meant so much because I've really been through the ringer with this whole journey. And just to be here in this moment, I was like, this is so surreal. I was so grateful. Everything up to that point, it just like, it didn't matter anymore and it was all worth it. I get to my car. First person I call was my mom, obviously. I could not even talk. I was bawling my eyes out. I just could not talk. Like, everything just came out. It was honestly the craziest moment and I just could not believe that I got in finally. I was just like, wow, like God really is good. So throughout all of this journey, this is like a 12-year journey to where I am now. And I know that it's just the beginning because I know I got years ahead of me to even get to where I want to be, to where I will be. But my advice to anybody who is considering anything in the healthcare field, whether it's nursing, if you have the passion for it, stay focused. Just stay focused. If you are also a creative person or a business person like I am, if you're gonna go to school, at least do something that's working towards something stable, and then you can save your business and creative side outside of school if you're still gonna go to school. But I feel like that's what I should have done, but honestly, it all came full circle. Before, maybe I wasn't doing it for the right reasons. Maybe I had an interest in it, but it had to come to all of this point for me to really want it and to know that it's coming from a place of purpose, not just because it's a good career, not just because it's a good schedule. It really had to come down to my life purpose. What is my life purpose? I don't want to do all these side hustles my whole life. What is actually fulfilling? Because there were moments where I was making good money. Was I happy? I was not. It all literally brought me down to this, and now I know with full truth that this is where I'm meant to be. Until I realized that was when I got into the program. So I think it's just God's plan. Everyone's journey is different, but I really think that's what this is all meant for. That's why I had such a long and crazy journey leading up to it, but it just makes this so much sweeter. I definitely recommend to keep being persistent. If this is meant for you, then it will be yours, but it doesn't mean that you should just give up when the first door closes in front of you. I had many doors close in front of me. I gave up so many times. I wanted to give up so many more times, but I just still kept coming back to it. I still believed in the dream, and I still, at the end, I just still knew that I was meant for it and I wanted it. So don't let the hard work stop you. Don't let the rejection stop you. You just keep going. You have your focus and you will get there eventually. No matter how long it takes, just stay focused and do everything possible to get there. If you have your attention spread way too thin like I did, then you are just gonna keep going in circles, and then 12 years are gonna pass by and then you're still gonna be going in circles. I recommend to literally just stick with 2 to 3 things. If you have school, if you have a business, if you have a creative career that you're trying to build, like honestly just stick to 3 different things, because I have a lot of interests too, but in the end I chose nursing. But it would have been a lot easier if I would have just stayed consistent with those 3 things, and who knows where I would have been now, but it's okay. Everything happens for a reason, and it was meant to happen this way for me. So that's another thing. Don't compare your journey to everyone else's journey. Everyone has a different path in life, a different purpose in life, and different ways of getting there. Just focus on yourself, focus on your journey, focus on your goals and dreams, focus on what you love, and just keep going. I'm so happy that I never gave up, and you're gonna thank yourself if you don't give up. Thank you guys so much for sticking with me till the end. If you guys want to see more of that nursing journey, I will be posting more of those videos on here, so stick around for that. I also post a lot of vegan and fitness content as well. Yeah, I start very soon, so I'm so excited about it, and like I literally cannot wait. But thanks guys for watching. Sub for more, like this video if you did, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye.